Do you feel like your finances are always affected by the economy? What if I told you that there are key financial principles that can keep you secure no matter what the economy is doing? Whether the market is booming or in a slump, these 5 money principles will act as your financial gravity. They never stop working. In this video, we'll break down these fundamental principles that help you build long-term wealth and financial security, regardless of external circumstances. Ready to make your money work for you? Let's dive into the top 5 money principles that are effective in any economy. 1. The gap rule. The first principle is the gap rule, and it's one of the most powerful concepts you can apply to your finances. What's the gap? Simply put, it's the difference between what you earn and what you spend. Your wealth isn't determined by how much you make, it's determined by how much you keep. If you earn $500 a week or $5,000 a week, but spend it all, your wealth isn't growing. The goal here is to widen this gap every year. No matter what your income level is, if the gap is 0, you're financially stagnant. This principle works in any economy, whether things are booming or in a downturn. During prosperous times, people tend to spend more, which shrinks their gap. In tough times, the gap can widen if you make a conscious effort to keep your expenses lower than your income. The key is to live below your means. It's not about how much you earn, but about how much of it you can keep. So, if you want to grow your wealth, focus on making sure there's always a gap between your income and your spending. The wider this gap, the more wealth you'll accumulate over time. The best part is, this principle is simple, easy to understand, and can be applied no matter what the economic climate looks like. 2. Asset versus liability clarity. The second principle is about understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. This may sound simple, but it's one of the most important lessons in personal finance. An asset puts money in your pocket, like stocks, rental properties, or investments that generate income. A liability, on the other hand, takes money out of your pocket, such as car loans, expensive subscriptions, or credit card debt. In a tough economy, the pressure to look rich can lead people to spend on liabilities to maintain appearances. However, true wealth comes from acquiring and holding assets, things that will pay you over time, rather than draining your finances. This principle is important because it helps you focus on building wealth that grows and works for you, instead of getting stuck in a cycle of paying off things that don't increase in value. For example, instead of buying a fancy car that requires constant payments and maintenance, consider investing in assets like stocks or rental properties that will generate passive income. This simple shift from liabilities to assets is one of the most effective ways to build wealth, and it doesn't require market conditions to be perfect. It's about making smart, intentional choices about where you allocate your money. Once you understand the difference, it becomes easier to prioritize spending on things that create future value and avoid purchasing items that merely look good in the moment but offer no long-term return. 3. The power of liquidity. The third principle is the importance of liquidity. Liquidity refers to how easily you can access cash when you need it. Having a cash reserve or opportunity fund gives you the flexibility to act when good investment opportunities arise or when unexpected expenses hit. Without liquidity, you could find yourself in a tough spot, needing to sell investments or assets in a downturn just to stay afloat. When the economy dips, prices for stocks, real estate, and other assets often drop. This is where liquidity becomes incredibly valuable. If you've built a liquid cash buffer, you can take advantage of these discounted prices to buy quality assets at a bargain. For example, during a market downturn, if you have cash readily available in a high-yield savings account, you can buy stocks or property at a lower cost, which can pay off handsomely when the market recovers. On the flip side, if you don't have enough liquidity, you might be forced to sell assets at a loss just to pay bills or cover emergencies. To ensure you're always in control of your financial future, it's important to maintain 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses in a liquid form, whether in a savings account or other easily accessible, low-risk investments. Liquidity offers you freedom. Freedom to invest when others can't, freedom to weather financial storms, and freedom to take advantage of opportunities. The power of liquidity cannot be underestimated, and it's one of the safest moves you can make to protect your wealth in any economic climate. 4. Diversification as insurance. The fourth principle is diversification, which acts as insurance for your wealth. When it comes to both income and investments, the more you diversify, the less vulnerable you are to unexpected losses. This is true whether you're investing in stocks, bonds, or real estate, or whether you have one source of income or many. When you diversify your income sources, you reduce the risk of relying on just one paycheck or business venture. If you lose your job or your primary source of income dries up, having multiple streams of income ensures that you're not left financially vulnerable. Consider adding a side hustle or investing in income-generating assets to complement your main income source. Diversifying your investments also protects you from a single point of failure. Instead of putting all your money into one stock or asset, spread it across different sectors or asset classes. For instance, you could invest in index funds, real estate, and bonds. This way, even if one sector experiences a downturn, the others can still provide steady returns. Diversification smooths out the bumps in the road and protects you from large financial losses in case a specific market crashes. In any economy, having multiple sources of income and a diversified investment portfolio ensures that your wealth remains protected and continues to grow. It's a smart strategy to reduce risks and maximize opportunities for wealth building. 5. The real value inflation filter. The final principle we're going to talk about is the real value inflation filter. To build long-term wealth, you need to understand that money today is worth more than money tomorrow. This is because inflation erodes the purchasing power of cash over time, making it essential to move your money out of dead cash and into assets that grow faster than inflation. When you keep your money in a regular savings account, you're essentially losing money every year due to inflation, especially when interest rates are lower than the inflation rate. The best way to beat inflation is to invest your money in assets that increase in value over time, such as stocks, real estate, or bonds. These investments grow faster than the rate of inflation and help protect your wealth. For example, if inflation is 3% per year and your money is sitting in a savings account earning 1% interest, you're losing 2% of its value each year. But if you invest in assets that earn more than 3% annually, like the stock market or rental property, you're staying ahead of inflation and growing your wealth in real terms. This principle helps you make smarter choices about where to put your money, so it grows instead of losing value. By actively looking for investments that outpace inflation, you ensure that your wealth retains its purchasing power and continues to grow, even in an inflationary environment. There you have it. These are the top 5 money principles that work in any economy. From the gap rule that helps you live below your means to the power of liquidity that ensures you're prepared for opportunities, these principles will guide you toward financial security. The goal is to build wealth steadily without taking big risks and to protect your money from inflation, downturns, and unexpected events. By focusing on these key principles, getting started early, understanding the difference between assets and liabilities, maintaining liquidity, diversifying your income and investments, and filtering out inflation, you'll set yourself on a strong financial foundation for the future. The best part is that these principles work no matter the economic climate. They give you control over your finances and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Before you go, don't forget to like this video if you found these tips helpful, share it with anyone who could benefit from these strategies, and subscribe for more financial advice to help you build wealth and create long-term financial security. Your financial future starts with the decisions you make today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.